Montana morning. And Madam Secretary, certainly a pleasure to welcome you. Governor Gianforte, a pleasure to welcome you back to Montana State University. Montana's land grant university, and Secretary McMahon, you spent a lot of time this morning providing you some upfront examples of how we're pursuing our land grant mission. And at the core of that is really this affordable, accessible, very high quality, comprehensive education for all Montanans. No matter what walk of life you come from, you can come to Montana State University. More and more students are coming to Montana State University. I mentioned we have a record high enrollment, record high on-time graduation rates. That's very important to us. And so we take a lot of pride in that student-centered approach. I also want to highlight for everyone in the room that part of our land grant mission involves service to the state. And whether that's through research and innovation that has an impact on workforce development and economic development, whether it's through our extension office, our ag research centers, and supporting rural vitality in Montana, we cover the bases here, and we take a lot of pride in that. We're a grounded institution. I hope you picked up on the emphasis we have with respect to agility, innovation. We understand that this is a sector that needs to be on its toes, and we're doing that every single day here at MSU. We have, I think, also a very clear understanding that the best thing we can do is to bring guests in direct contact with our students. I think you'd agree this morning the standouts have been our students, more so than any administrator that joined you on the tour. And they'll be here to answer some questions. We have a facilitator, Cody Stone, you met earlier, is our director of Montana State University Extension, which extends around the state, and he'll be a moderator for us. We have a number of other sort of dignitaries, not sort of dignitaries, real dignitaries here. Dean Shannon, I was looking at you when I said that. I did not mean sort of dignitary. Certainly welcome to our Superintendent of Public Instruction, Commissioner Christian, whom you met, the Mayor of Bozeman, Terry Cunningham, and of course, First Lady Susan Gianforte. I thought, if you don't mind, I might express, again, my appreciation to our governor and to our First Lady Susan. We do a lot here on our campus, but it is not possible without state support. And I think people would be surprised, perhaps outside Montana, to learn of the extent to which the state is investing in keeping tuition affordable for Montanans. Workforce development programs that don't require a four-year degree. It may include a four-year degree, but don't require a four-year degree. And then this beautiful campus. My dad was an architect. I believe that space and place matters. And it's wonderful to walk through our campus during a course change and see 17,165 students coming alive and pursuing our dreams. Governor, it would not be possible without your support. So you have my deep gratitude. You'll know that this campus will continue to work hard in order to meet our obligations, and we're going to continue to grow and serve our state. So welcome, Governor Gianforte. I might hand the table to you, so to speak, and see if you have some remarks to share.
Sure. So President Tessman, thank you for welcoming me. It's always wonderful to be here. I'm a Bobcat deep down.
I know you are.
It's very good. And Secretary McMahon, it's great to have you here. It's really an honor.
Pleasure.
And to both of you, welcome to your new jobs.
But may yours last longer than mine.
Oh, fire hose is a real thing.
And I just want to start off by saying thank you to both of you for the leadership that you're exhibiting in the education space. I think we have to be guided by a principle of helping every student reach their full potential, whether it's at K through 12 or at Gallatin College or here at MSU or at postdoctoral work, and not doing that work devoid from the understanding that they're all going to graduate someday and they're going to go on to pursue a career, whether that's being a mom or a dad or a welder or an engineer. And it's really, we need that partnership between the private sector and higher ed to have better outcomes for the students. So I just think we have to recognize that. And that's why we've made such a priority in our administration to align workforce with education so that our students can have brighter futures and our economy continue to grow so that people can pursue the American dream. That's what it's all about. We've made great progress And it's great to have a partner in Washington who's helping us with that. I think it's particularly the fact that you are spending time in each of the 50 states to understand what we face and how you can be a better partner. We've seen it from all agencies, but in particular in education, and we're appreciative. We're all here today because we share a common goal, really, is high quality education. Because education at the end of the day are the keys that unlock the future and the potential in each individual. And in Montana, I really think it boils down to innovation, and that's where we set up the agenda for today's visit. We wanted to show you how Montana is leading the nation in innovation, whether it's in helping our 4-year-olds get to literacy early so they're ready to learn, or hands-on education, or the 2-year trade programs. It's really about preparing our students for the future and building a highly skilled, highly qualified workforce so they can do exactly that. Right now, one of the biggest challenges, and I hear this as I travel the state, I make it a point, I think that you learn more when you're not behind a desk.
Yep.
That's my experience. So I get to all 56 counties every year. When I talk to business owners, their number one issue is workforce. And this is a solution that education can help with, connecting those dots. This is why we've really prioritized career and technical education in our schools, working with the regents. Commissioner Christian, thank you. Pushing these college courses down into the high schools, engaging the private sector so we have better partnerships. CTE programs equip students with real-world skills and helps them decide what you want to spend the rest of your life doing, because you get exposed to real-world stuff. It's much better than just getting that knowledge out of a book. Hands-on learning works, and it leads to higher-paying jobs and better futures and a stronger economy. So we're going to continue to expand work-based learning opportunities and pushing the marketplace closer to higher ed so we can find partnerships there. One local educator in Kalispell told me, students, quote, and I quote, "Students don't know what field to pursue if they don't know it exists." And Kalispell has been particularly proactive in getting the Chamber of Commerce to establish internships for high school students. And I think that's really a great innovation. So thanks to the efforts of all of us working together, we're seeing results. We have a record number of students enrolled in CTE programs here in the state now. In fact, last year, over 3,300 high school students across Montana earned college credit through CTE. That's the 1-2 free program that you've pioneered. And an increase of more than 600 students in just 1 year. So that's progress. We're also trying to remove barriers and expanding apprenticeship opportunities. Right now, Montana has a record number of apprenticeships. We made some rule changes and in the process quadrupled the number of apprenticeship slots in the state, such that now we have over 3,000 apprentices in various trades. And that's going to lead to brighter futures and a stronger economy. That's a 20% increase since 2020. So we're proud of that progress as well. And I just want to emphasize, these are not just about numbers. Each one of these is a life and a livelihood that's going to lead to a brighter future. So it's about students who discover a passion for nursing or teaching or welding or home building. It's about apprentices who find really a fulfilling, lifelong profession. And we want to encourage that. And it's about Montana employers finding the workforce they need to grow their businesses. So it's a win-win on both sides. The last point I want to make, which I think is significant, working with the Commissioner of Labor and Industry, we just recently launched our 406 Jobs Initiative. This is kind of interesting. We continue to have record low unemployment, but what we realized was we still have low labor force participation. We're at like 64%. We've identified 100,000 Montanans who don't have a job and aren't looking for work. So we want to connect the dots to help build bridges for these subpopulations within that 100,000 to help them to a brighter future as well. And this aligns with President Trump's initiative around Make America Skilled Again. So to connect the dots, whether it's a veteran who's trying to find his way back into the workforce, or someone with disabilities, or maybe someone in a Native American community that doesn't have a connection to the marketplace, we want to work on these subpopulations. So this 406 Jobs is really a unifying framework to promote career, college, military, and entrepreneurship pathways. So I just want to, I'm looking forward to the discussion today, and I just want to say to all the educators that are here, administrators, business leaders, thank you for sharing this commitment and helping Montana a better place to pursue the American dream. That's why we're here. So the bottom line is education has to be a place of innovation. I think better is always possible, and we have to not be satisfied with the status quo, but find ways to do better. So I look forward to a productive session. I'm glad each one of you is here. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Governor. I appreciate the invitation to come and to visit your state, and especially to be here in Bozeman. Governor has stated so eloquently, as well. Thank you for having me here today. Governor stated so eloquently, I think, what the president's his focus is really on making sure that we look at education totally differently. That we get the bureaucracy of education out of Washington, that we allow states to be creative and innovative like Montana has been, because the Department of Education does not create any curriculum. We don't hire teachers, we don't buy books, we don't do any of that. So why should all that bureaucracy be in the way of having more funds flow into the states to get to students so that these programs can continue to be developed? The president certainly believes that every child should have access to a quality education, but we need to look at education differently, just as you've been talking about. For so long, it was everybody has to have a 4-year degree, and I am so happy for those students who would like to get a 4-year degree, those parents that can afford to send, or students can put themselves through school. But we have to look at the fact that it is not necessary in today's environment, that we do have this skill-based learning. And I'm so happy to hear from teachers who have been here and other schools that we have gone through, that they are working with the private sector. I love when you were telling me last night about, like, when there were buildings that wanted to be built on campus. You said, yeah, everybody said they need a building. And you said, well, you put up half the money and the state will put up half the money. You get a little skin in the game, everybody focuses and pays a bit more attention to that as well. It's a great program to have, and so I am thrilled by what I have seen here on this campus with the innovation. It is clear that you're working hand in hand with the private sector, because in developing the kind of curriculum and fulfilling the jobs that are needed, you have to know. When you said they don't know what to do if they're not presented with options, well, you don't know what the options can be until you work with the private sector to say, this is what I need. We need more HVAC skills, we need more carpenters, we need more electricians, or we need more AI technology, we need more robots, drones, whatever it is. You really have to focus and work with the private sector in order to develop the right kind of curriculum and skills training. So kudos to you and to all of the schools that I've seen, from, as we looked at this morning, from 4-year-olds, as the governor was explaining, all the way through being here this afternoon. One of my priorities, my number one priority as a Secretary of State, is literacy, because we have found throughout our country, high schoolers, 8th graders, 4th graders are reading at about 30% proficiency. We cannot have that in order to be successful and to continue to build on the programs that you've talked about. So I'm thrilled to be here today, and I'm looking forward to the discussion as well. So thank you so much for having me and for taking me around and showing me so many really cool things.
It has been a cool morning. I
Really
agree.
cool
We're so proud
stuff.
of that. Madam Secretary, thank you, Governor Gianforte, again. And again, welcome to Superintendent Hedlund, Commissioner Christian, and Mayor Cunningham. Cody, I want to say one more thing before you take over. Madam Secretary, I mentioned that we have a number of students here for you to talk with. I would be remiss, there are also a number of industry partners at the table, because we do want to underscore how much we highlight that partnership and emphasize it. So we have a number of partners kind of across the table. And Cody, as you ask questions and engage the students, make sure you give our industry partners an opportunity to share their experience working with Montana State University.
Perfect. I will do my best in moderating our conversation. I think it's really important. We've talked about this throughout the day. Secretary, again, we are honored to have you here with us, as well as the others at the table. As Montana's land grant institution, we're really charged with engaging with students, with communities, with industry partners, with Montanans to address locally identified, statewide, and national needs. And the programs and industry partners that we're going to highlight here show some of the unique and even rural workforce needs of our state, of the region, and also of the country. So we hope to talk about some of those opportunities with that. We're going to start off with some of our students from Gallatin College. And I'm going to start off with Mark and that connection as well with Jeremy from Martell. So maybe Mark, tell a little bit about your journey through Gallatin College and then apprenticeship and work with Martell, if you would. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I graduated about 2 years ago from the very first carpentry program here at MSU. Honestly, I thought it was a really good program. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life at this point, so I tried out college. Turned out I didn't like it. Was trying to figure out a new plan, and I was like, oh, okay, there's a carpentry program. You know, I've always liked building stuff. I love the Legos, so I'll try it out. And yeah, it was really cool, just learning all the aspects of construction. We did everything from concrete to finished work, which I think was one of the biggest benefits of that program, just having a wide spectrum of things to learn about the construction industry, and really figuring out like what you like to do, what might not you want to do, and yeah.
Awesome. And Jeremy Watkins is from Martell as their workforce manager. Could you maybe talk about engagement with students also with Gallatin College?
Yeah, thanks, Cody. Like Cody said, I'm with Martell Construction. Martell started in Bozeman in 1960.
And you built this building.
And we built this building. Hundreds of subcontractors and industry professionals. We built this building. We have 2 more under construction. College of Nursing under construction right now. We're about 230 employees throughout the state, so we're one of the larger general contractors. And we're still a company that self-performs a lot of our work. We do that with very skilled craftspeople. And so, you know, we're building our own foundations, we're framing our own buildings, and so it's important for us, it's crucial for us, you know, to have highly trained professional craftspeople. And I think that's right where the Gallatin College carpentry program and welding program comes in. It's an ideal conduit for us. And Mark, I believe, was the first hire out of that program. And from day one, I knew we had a different employee here with Mark. He had spent a year under industry professionals that know exactly what these students need to know to be successful in the construction industry, and that really showed.
Jeremy, what was different about Mark walking on the job site versus other hires you had done?
Well, I would say, one thing is, it's clear that Mark chose construction as a career, right? And that, for his age, that was a big difference. We get plenty of individuals that want to give construction a shot. They're not sure, just kind of want to try it out. But Mark put the effort in to establish a foundation so that he could have a successful career in construction. And so I think that was the big one. Mark wants a career in construction. We want employees that want a career in construction, and we have a system set up to help them advance. Our hope is that when we hire someone, they're going to be with us for the rest of their career. And that's what I saw in Mark.
Thanks so much. Courtney Johnson is the owner of Johnson Metalworks and engages with Gallatin College as well. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what that engagement has looked like, what it's meant as an owner of a business here?
Sure, yeah. We are only 8 years old. My husband started this with a Rubbermaid table and an SBA loan. It's very big, expensive equipment. And we now have 50 employees, and we could not have done that without the skilled workforce at Gallatin College. We have strategically 3 of our employees are lead instructors there. So we integrate with them. I love to talk to the students. What is it like? And I love to ask them interview questions, how to get a resume going. And we have foremen that love to go and tell them what it's like. You're up at 4. Here's what shop life is like. But Gallatin College does an amazing job with the building foundation. And similar to what Jeremy is saying, they come in with confidence and the skills. And then we're able to take it further. We're seeing a lot of automation and technology changes. So it's been wonderful talking with Stephanie and Sarah about what we need, because we are different in that we provide parts, components, and weldments to all manufacturers. We're not just a manufacturer. We're the only ones that have a tube laser in Montana. So it's a rotary laser. We have 2 flat lasers. So we support a job shop, a single fabricator, all the way up to Trigro, Aero, lots of partners across the state and beyond. So we're really excited that we have a pipeline of students that come in, and we keep growing. So we have 50 employees. Most of them are either MSU or Gallatin College alumni, and we don't have a big enough shop. We're still looking for financing and growth because we can't do enough. So we don't have a workforce problem. We have a space problem. It's fantastic. So thank you for coming, and we're looking forward to dominating Montana.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sounds like growth opportunities. I like the domination where it is. That's great. Kind of building.
Cody?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
You know, you guys probably know this statistic, but the fastest growing class of millionaires in the country are trade skills. So keep working.
Exactly. And we have kids that are out of Gallatin College making 6 figures. We pay above prevailing wage. We're taking on federal, we're working on the airport, we're going for that one. So these kids are coming out with very little debt, making great money, and we'd love to be a part of that.
Are you hiring?
Too many applicants, yes. So they have nicer trucks than us.
Also, with Gallatin College, IT and cybersecurity is an important program within our state, also within our nation. Tage Olson, can you talk a little bit about your experience, what your aspirations are, and why you kind of chose Gallatin College?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Stone. So I'm currently 5 weeks into my cybersecurity course, just started, and I'm also working front desk at Gallatin College. It's been a really great experience so far. We're kind of just covering the basics, but I'm really engraving those basics into my brain and really having a lot of fun with it so far. So it's been great. Yeah.
What do you hope to get out of the program?
I hope to graduate with little debt. That's one of the reasons I chose Gallatin College. They also have very good starting pay after graduation, so I should be able to pay off any loans or anything like that quickly.
And the program you're in will last how long?
It's only a 2-year program.
2-year program.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Thanks so much. This part of Montana has been a leader in photonics and optics for some decades now, and we learned about some of the precision applications with Precision Ag earlier in the day, but we also have 2 other industry partners with us today. I'm going to start maybe with Ashley with Aurora. Can you maybe talk a little bit about your industry, how you look towards the positioning of that industry here in Bozeman, and then also the engagement with Montana State University?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for having Aurora and myself here to talk with you guys. I've been engaging with MSU and Gallatin College for a number of years now. I sit on the advisory board for Gallatin College on the laser photonics technician curriculum. And we at Aurora here in Bozeman are focused on building and designing and building LiDAR for self-driving trucks. And we have a fleet of trucks down in Texas that are running right now, and there are Gallatin College students that have built components that are on those trucks. And so we are delighted to continue to engage with the technology ecosystem here in Bozeman and at Montana to hire those students, and they come in ready to work. They have the skill sets that we desire. They know how to align a laser. They understand laser safety. They know electronics. They can code. So they have a good foundation. And then we do a lot of on-the-job training, and they're off to the races in a matter of weeks in their onboarding. And we can't get enough. I was laughing with Jason earlier. The first couple of years of that program, we were fighting over the graduates, trying to grab them up as soon as we
You're
could.
opposite.
Yeah, and so our company is very excited in how we can continue to develop these education programs and these 2- and 4-year programs here at MSU to feed what we do in Aurora Bozeman and Aurora throughout the nation.
Right next, Morgan and Steve, some doctoral students in electrical engineering. Can you talk a little bit about your program, interests, and what that means, and why Montana State?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I'm a homegrown Texan, and I had no idea about any type of optics, photonics. I didn't really have an idea what a laser was. I went through my undergraduate still not knowing those things. I mean, I did an internship through a nationally funded RE program here in Montana and got hooked on lasers. And then I decided that this was where I wanted to continue learning about that. Yeah, and so I've had a really good experience. I just started my second year of grad school. And I've really admired how much the optics and photonics master's program has been involved with the industry partners. There's an MPQA, is the Montana Photonics and Quantum Alliance, and they have mixers every 4 times a year. So I feel like I've gotten a good look at what industry would look like for me once I've graduated and have the networking opportunities to make those connections. I don't know anybody that's graduated and hasn't immediately gotten a job, basically. One of our lab mates recently got hired to be the first employee of a European company in Bozeman. And so that was really cool to see that job develop because of a Headwaters Tech Hub grant that Montana got. So just a lot of cool opportunities between being a graduate student and then also having industry partners around all the time.
Morgan, have you picked the company you want to go work for?
No. I have 4 more years left.
A little bit of time. Steve.
Yeah, I'm a 4th-year PhD candidate now, so I've been around a little bit, and I've gotten to see a lot of really cool things come through this university now, and I think what I appreciate most is actually being able to interact with as many companies in Montana, and specifically Bozeman, which I was not expecting at all. So, I mean, we use Aurora all the time for testing LiDARs and things like that, and I work with other laser companies in town like Lumabird and all sorts of different companies to do the things that I want to do. And to touch on the governor's point, I had no idea that this was really a thing that was happening in Montana at all until I knew about it, and now I'm getting a PhD in it, and I think that's really cool. And I think that it's incredibly important to start putting young faces in front of those positions early and as early as possible, because I think we've seen through our club that does outreach to younger generations of students that they get really interested and really fascinated by it really early, but they've never seen it before. So being able to show that off early and while they're still developing young is incredibly important and valuable here in Montana.
This predates my arrival here by quite a bit, but Madam Secretary, this is such a good example of the interaction between industry and the university. Best I understand it, about, 35 years or so ago, there was a conversation between a professor from Montana State University and an industry leader, really decided that together they could create a cluster of photonics and optics collaborations in this area. And so 1992 or so, Optech was born, and since that time, it's just been a kind of exponential growth curve. Employing thousands of people in the Gallatin Valley, I think 50 or so companies. And so what we have is this mix of 2-year graduates, 4-year graduates, graduate students, and then a burgeoning sector that's global now. And you mentioned that there's a European company here, employee one, MSU grad. It's really a fantastic thing. It's a nice example of that synthesis.
Sure. Stevens, what is your area of research?
So I study optical, well, I build optical remote sensing systems. So right now I develop airborne LiDAR systems that fly over oceans and lakes and profile different water quality parameters and standards and things like that.
Cool.
Sorry to interrupt, but at this time I'm going to have the press escorted out so we can be available for media afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do have another industry partner with us, Jason Yeager, Executive Director of Montana Photonics and Quantum Alliance. If you could briefly talk about what that has been built here and how that's been leveraged to help industry.
Thank you, Cody. Madam Secretary, you said industry working with academia hand in hand. That analogy describes perfectly what has happened here. And it happened back in the 90s. What we're seeing today is the fruit of that relationship. And Dr. Shaw, the director of the Optics Center, describes it as two sides of the same coin, academia and industry working hand in hand. And I couldn't be more excited about the momentum that's being built here in Montana. The Headwaters Tech Hub was funded in last year in July, $41 million, to help develop smart photonic sensors, which you heard about here, through the Chips and Science Center. And we looked at that both as an opportunity and as a confirmation of what's been built here with collaboration with both industry, with academia, and with our government partners. And I have to say, the future of Montana looks very, very good.
Cody, may I chime in?
Of course, please.
Please. I just wanted to thank Jason. Also, he works closely with our staff at OPI, and we are getting these STEAM kits to get photonics into the elementary and middle school classrooms across the state of Montana. So we are trying to make sure that kids get an early introduction and see these as options. So thank you.
I think that's excellent in building that spark early on to understanding opportunities for a career, what that looks like, and those opportunities around here too. Yes?
One more thing.
Quickly, yeah.
I'll move very quickly. The other amazing thing is the Gallatin Community Program has always had an industry professional who has stepped out and taught. I got to teach for 1 year. That alignment has created a synergy which has resulted in 100% placement of every graduate since inception.
Madam Secretary, as you well know, Montana is a very rural state. We have with us, and you have met, our Dean from the College of Education, Health, and Human Development. Next to her is our Dean from the Nursing College as well. And access to both education and to healthcare can sometimes be a struggle in some of our very rural states. I want to start maybe with nursing and talking about what we're doing with our nursing students that we have here with us today to talk about that access to healthcare in some of our rural areas. So both Sierra and Joanna, if y'all would like to maybe tell a little bit about yourselves and what's brought you to nursing and maybe an interest in that within our state.
I can start. My story is very convoluted. I never knew that I wanted to be a nurse, and obviously didn't know until maybe about 4 years ago when I was in labor with my second child. I watched the nurses there and they inspired me. But what really brought me to nursing was honestly my children and providing a future for them. I'm a first generation college graduate from MSU in 2019.
Go Cats.
And you know, my dad raised me all on his own, so we struggled my entire life. I have 3 small children, 2, 4, and well now 7. it was obvious for me that I wanted to choose a path that would support my family, not just right now, but for years to come and for generations to come, to give a career that they're proud of. And it was an obvious choice for me once I saw the nurses and just saw how they worked. And I have a BSN, so I'm a science nerd anyway, and I love caring for people. And MSU, I live in Livingston. I'm from Livingston. So for me, it's just right over the hill, and it was an obvious choice. It's affordable for in-state tuition. And, I applied, I did my prereqs, and Bozeman was my only option, unfortunately. So you have to choose your campus wisely and hope that you get there. And I did. I was fortunate enough to get a spot in Bozeman. And I'm in my second semester of 4. And I've got a daughter that says I'm going to be a doctor, which is great. I actually had a chance to do a clinical at my daughter's school in Winans Elementary. I've got one who's in the early literacy program and then a second grader. And just being there and seeing how proud they are and all their little friends come up and give me hugs, it's very confirming. I'm happy to be here. I'm incredibly happy for the opportunity.
Great.
Hi, I'm Joanne. I am in my first semester of the accelerated nursing program here. Prior to this, I did work for the state of Montana, doing social work for the state, and obviously I love serving my community, which was one of the larger reasons why choosing Montana State was so important. Not to mention the reach across the state with our 5 different campuses for nursing was really important for me. Not to mention, the long history of accreditation and just excellence in our nursing program here, which I think in the 5 weeks that I've been here, I feel like I've grown so much. The nursing program here is incredible. We have a great blend of in-class learning. We have an amazing simulation lab. We have so many clinical hours alongside our community, which I think is really important to me. And our faculty team is just so experienced, and I feel very supported by them. So I'm just grateful to be part of this accelerated program and being able to continue serving my community when I graduate.
Thank you.
We have 2 more students that I want to make sure we have time to hear from too. So Robert Shane is English teaching junior major. Can you maybe tell a little bit about yourself briefly, and then we'll also move on to Taylor as well.
First of all, I'm going to say good morning to everybody. I just want to get that out of the way. It feels weird not saying hello to everybody.
Right.
But I'm a secondary education major who's focusing on English teaching. And I just want to say that my entire experience here at MSU has been with education, focusing on how we can best serve our rural communities and how can we use that strength that rural communities and people have with education, and how can we use their strengths in order to best serve them alongside with the community, and how can we really support each other. And so we've been learning not to focus on the idea of what rural places don't have, but what rural places give and what they offer in their unique places. And so it's just been a blast to be able to have these experiences and this time to be able to not only learn about rural identities, but also be able to have experiences every year, every semester that focuses on rural education and be able to be placed in rural schools. I remember my first year being placed in the schoolhouse that's 15, 20 minutes from here, and seeing 9 kids grade from 4th to 8th grade. And it's it's jarring to see that, and you're how do I deal with this? How do I go about this? But the professors, the teachers here, they show you, they tell you, they instruct you how to use such unique opportunities to be able to teach. And so I guess I'll leave it with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Taylor Carey. I'm a senior here at MSU. I study chemical engineering, so I'll graduate this fall. I absolutely love my department and the college in general. I feel that I've gotten a great education from MSU because a lot of my faculty have already had industry experience, so they're able to go work industry, come back, and then teach us what we're actually going to use in industry.
Mm-hmm.
So super cool. I've been very blessed. I've had 4 internships total. A lot of them have been from the Montana State Career Fair, and then I'm also the president of our Society of Women Engineers here on campus. We travel every year to conference. A lot of us do great there. We represent MSU well. We've all gotten multiple internships across the states. Something that Montana State really drew me in was the volunteering that the College of Engineering does. They host the first LEGO League and robotics teams here. So from the entire state, multiple teams come, and we're able to mentor these young students and get them excited about STEM, and I absolutely love doing that. It's in February, so I'm upset I won't get to participate this year, but I've done it the last 4, and last week we do a shadow day here as well, so we encourage local Montanan high schoolers to come in and pick a major that they don't really know anything about or something that they might be interested in, and they get to follow us around the whole day. I usually take them to a chemical engineering lab and into some classes, so kind of get some prep for college and what to expect, so yeah.
Can you talk about your future plans? Because I know that was a great aspect of what's going on next with industry.
Yeah. So I signed with Marathon Petroleum. I actually met my fiance here. He's a mechanical engineering student, and they also offered him a position at Marathon Petroleum. So we'll be moving up to Kenai, Alaska to go do that together. So.
Where did you do your internships?
Yeah. So my first one was with Hillcorp LLC up in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. I was a facility engineer. Doing upstream oil and gas. I was the only female at the facility, so it was a little awkward. My second one was with Bayer Pharmaceuticals. I was a plant engineer. I did a co-op with them, so I took a semester off of school and I worked for 6 months in Berkeley, California. That's very different than Montana. I decided California wasn't for me, so I decided to come back to Bozeman, and I worked for a local company here, KD&A Life Sciences, as a quality and process technician. They make bioprosthetics. So that was super cool industry. And then finally, my last one was with Marathon Petroleum this last summer in Salt Lake City. So.
Great, thanks.
Great.
Excellent. Secretary, Governor, guests, superintendents, Commissioner, I hope you've learned something that I think is really important. We have exceptional students doing exceptional things in exceptional ways to really meet the workforce needs of our state, our region, our nation, and we wanted to highlight some of those programs. Thank you too to our industry partners who are here as well with us, and I think it's a really important step to think about how we integrate hand in hand with that.
We give a round of applause to our students and interns. Absolutely, for moderating a very informative panel. Mayor Cunningham, First Lady Gianforte, Commissioner Christian, Superintendent Hedlund, Governor Gianforte, Madam Secretary. If you just take a peek behind you, I want to kind of end on this note. So next to our American flag and the state of Montana flag, this is a painting of the headwaters of the Missouri River. So the mighty Mo, one of America's great rivers. And the headwaters are a special place, right? This is where the Gallatin River, the Jefferson, and the Madison come together in order to form this great river. And I think about Montana State University as the headwaters of our state's future. I think of rural America's future and of the future of our country. This is a special time for this campus. We're bursting at the seams because of the innovation and the partnership that you've learned a little bit about around this table. And we're so thankful to you, of course, to our state leaders for your support in helping us be the best public university that we can be. I have just a small token of our appreciation to offer you. So one is a card, which is primarily from our students. Thank you again to our students for joining us. And then this is a special time at Montana State University. So I'm not proposing to you right now. So this is a pin. This is in fact a presidential pin, and one of the great privileges of this job is an opportunity to design a pin, and intentionally we've chosen to reflect the state of Montana in this edition of the pin because our service is to the state, and we're reserving this particular pin for guests who've shown exemplary partnership and support for our university. And so outside of our executive team, as a very narrow group, you are our first external guest to receive this pin. And so
Thank
it's
you.
such an honor.
Very
Thank you
much.
very
I
much.
appreciate that very, very
Yeah,
much.
thank you again,
It's
Madam
wonderful.
Secretary. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me today. This has really been so enlightening, and I'm going to take back a lot of best practices with me today. So thank you all so very much.
Thanks so much for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good to see you too. Thank you.
So,